Welcome back to another episode of the Center Stage Beauty Podcast. Our last episode delved in and gave exclusive tips on our previous trip to Disney World and our stay at the Shades of Green Resort. I hope that episode is helping you plan your magical Disney World trip. Today's episode is going to be a bit different. I would like to highlight the fact that the podcast just hit the 1 year mark. Woohoo! Yes! We are extremely excited to reach this milestone and would love to use this episode to highlight our experience. Without further ado, Episode 7, 5 Lessons from My First Year of Podcasting. August 24th is our 1 year anniversary of Center Stage Beauty Podcast. Wow. The other day, I was reflecting on the first time I heard my first podcast and how I was introduced. As of right now, there are a total of 3,134,937 podcasts available worldwide. When it comes to individual episodes, the number reaches a whopping 169,244,762 as reported by influencermarketinghub.com. At the moment, the global community of podcast listeners is around 464.7 million people. This is roughly 22% of all internet users. Remarkably, from 2022 to 2023, the number of podcast listeners grew by over 40 million. I love podcasting and I love listening to other podcasts. We have not monetized or utilized ads in our podcasts. Currently, our focal point is audience building, creating content, and collaborations. In the near future, we would love to pursue the route, but as for now, we care about the quality of our product. Here are my top 5 reflections that will assist you if you are a podcast or looking to start one. Number 1, constantly remind yourself of your purpose. You should constantly repeat your goals and make them visible every morning. Say your goals out loud, program them into your smartphone app, and write them down in a journal or on a whiteboard. Place them where you will always see them to make your mind remember them. Be very strong in who you are as a person and walking in your own direction. People will always try to sway you. However, you cannot let someone's fear of not trying dictate what the future holds for you. Number 2, not all people make good guests. Keep your audience in mind, not the guest. Airing a poorly recorded episode will only hurt both brands. Just because a guest is great for a topic does not mean they'll gel well with the host's energy or sync well with the show. Let ideas flow organically and always be the anchor for your show no matter what. A strong captain can always lead her fleet. Number 3, know your goals. You may think that achieving your ultimate goal is the pinnacle of success, but making progress through micro achievements will make you realize that it was never the end goal, but rather about the person you become in the process of achieving it. For me, being in media was something I only saw for the podcasts I listened to. However, one of my goals creating the podcast was to be accessible to all of my audience in every way, which includes capturing both audio and visual content. Being able to be very visible and present on such a variety of social media platforms was important to me. The amount of effort and dedication my husband, Todd Jolly, co-founder, has to put in to orchestrate the social media drops is a task in itself. I am so thankful to Maimuna Anika, our in-house editor, that works on all our audio and visual content. The amount of brainstorming and time management Todd and myself have to do to put out content is insane. We both still have actual jobs, a 5-year-old, and life. I can say we have achieved our goal and are making steady strides to new ones. Number 4, finding a rhythm takes time. This statement is true and comes with time and practice. It takes some time to get comfortable and connected in front of the camera, guess or not. Another reason to do some practice runs. Number 5, having fun and keeping it simple are closely linked. The truth is that by overcomplicating things, you make yourself far less likely to take action and could quite easily get lost in the detail rather than focusing on the big picture. Keeping things fun and keeping them simple are intricately linked. Because at the start of learning anything, when you know very little, the more complicated it gets, it becomes less fun. If you're not careful, the whole process starts to feel like a chore, more like a job than a passion project. I can now say with certainty that there are plenty obstacles that can stop you from starting a podcast, if you let them. If you commit to starting a podcast or anything in life, you must commit to it fully and expect to experience some ups and downs along the way. The feeling of launching a podcast and the responses I've received since then have been fantastic, but as always, I've found the greatest value is the learning process in itself. I hope you guys enjoyed my 5 lessons that I've learned starting a podcast. Now, I encourage you all, if you're in the mindset of having your own business, being a beauty enthusiast, just, being creative, owning your space, be strong, be confident, own your excellence, and walk in your best light. Until then, thank you for joining in to another episode of the Center Stage Beauty Podcast. See you later.